Welcome back, and our guest is Prince Kassim Afegbua, APC chieftain, and we're looking at the transition, process, meetings and arrangements, preparations to the incoming APC governor in the place. And Prince Kassim has been telling us that, yeah, it's happening, but it hasn't been the smoothest of operations. And just before we went on break, Reverend Dominic had called in and was observing that, look, the elections are over. Is there any room for us to see how we can get some harmony as we continue with the job at hand? But in the meantime, Mr. Joshua in Irewolede has also called in. Good morning to you, Mr. Joshua.
Uncle, good morning.
Thank you.
And good morning to your guest.
All right, then.
I always enjoy what he has to say every time. And congratulations to his political party. This situation, Uncle, brings me to the government structure that we're running, where this situation where the elections are over, the executive governor still has the exclusive power to run the state affairs for the next 3 months, which is a constitutional provision. But there is a gap there. You see, in this situation now where his political party loses the election, and then he has to make up for the money they have spent, he's going to dip his hands into the state coffers. And you see, most times I ask myself, it's not about EFCC chasing after treasury looters. The point is, where can we cover the gap where it becomes a bit difficult for people to even steal? That prevention in this area is better than cure. But in this situation, I think the people, the lawmakers and everyone needs to look at that area. That once an election is over, that period of transition, I think the transition committee that is going to work with the government in place should have an input into disbursement. Because this state will just run dry now. Unfortunately, the governor will come in, and the people are heaping demands on the governor, asking him to hit the ground running, and he has no money. The state is dry. Because for 3 months, anything can happen. The entire treasury of that state can be wiped off.
All right.
That is it.
But so Mr. Joshua
is now going to start on a very hard ground. So I think something should be looked at to cover up that loophole.
Okay, but Mr. Joshua, I didn't want to interrupt your flow. Yes, when you said that the incumbent governor, might dip his hands into funds, and that is a danger, you have to agree that was unsubstantiated conjecture. You're just guessing that. I mean, we can't take it as a given, or can we? I just thought I'd point that out. I didn't want to interrupt.
We always a given. The presidents are there. I'm from Kogi State. You know what's happening to the governor there, despite the fact that he passed the state to the same APC person. You know the antecedent. The things in the public space.
If you want to insist that it's a given, but thank you for calling in. I hope Prince Kassim Afegbua doesn't see it like that, because you must substantiate whatever you're saying with proof. Prince Afegbua, we can't. Yeah, did you want to say something?
To Reverend Dominic.
Okay, go ahead, Prince.
And Joshua, there's a common stream in what is with respect to elections are over. Elections are not over. They have shifted the battlefield, the political field, to the law courts. The people have filed its own petition and waiting for a response, and in that will begin to address the gritty. But the beauty of it is that in all the filed at the court, at the tribunal, without prejudice to what the court will later when they begin to interrogate the issues. They conceded victory to APC. In their own records, from what they gathered from the poll units up to local government level, they concede that the APC won the election. The tabulated results are captured by INEC representatives. They also captured the results as reported by the agents, and they came out victorious. So for me, what they are going to the tribunal to do is just like an academic exercise. And we must commend INEC for remaining firm on the part of justice and this election. Oftentimes we condemn INEC, we complain of IRF, we complain of stuff like that. But when we have their agents, the polling units, and they are able to collate results, and the result reflects the opposite of what they wanted, they be magnanimous enough to accept defeat. APC won this election, within the PDP own situation room, within I situation room, and within APC situation room. So the next question will be, what are they looking at the tribunal? They are just trying to fish or maybe ancillary factors, and maybe the Nigerian factor can upturn what was validly and legitimately handed over to APC as a mandate of Edo people. So we appreciate Edo people for voting for APC without let or hindrance. We also appreciate them that we are prepared to confront the tribunal, and we will be advancing very legitimate, reasons why that victory must stand. But again, politicians must learn to accept outcome of election, irrespective of the kind of emotions and sentiments they may want to convert. And if I derive inspiration from what Reverend Dominic is saying, it goes to suggest that, elections are over, we should forget the past and all of that. This is always the mistake we make. We must always begin to interrogate processes that lead to outcome. You cannot run a state for 8 years and we see financial infractions and lack of transparency in your conduct, and you are telling us not to raise questions. I am not speaking as the governor-elect. I am speaking first as a member of the APC, second as an insider, third as a member of the transition committee who has been availed certain documents that we have interrogated, we have dissected, and have come to the conclusion that the outgoing government was profligate, and embark on so many journeys of self-aggrandizement. And in weeks and months to come, given the opportunity, we will definitely see, greater details into what transpired in 8 years or in the last 4 years to cut it short.
Okay, but before you go further, I don't want to hold on interminably.
Sorry?
Prince in Abuja. Prince in Abuja has called in. Good morning, Prince in Abuja.
Good morning to Chief Afegbua in your studio there.
Yeah, thank you.
I would like to first and foremost congratulate the APC on their win in the election. And I would like to quickly reiterate that I did call in at some time back when he was a guest in your studio. And I did intimate him on the fact that we have a lot of Nigerian bright youth from Edo State who are scattered all over the world, who have at various times tried to actually give in their quota to the state. Now, he made a promise that this government is one that is youth inclusive in nature, and by God's grace, God has brought them into power. So I need him to, as a matter of fact, state categorically what they have on the table for youth. Because I myself, as an individual, I will see a situation where tomorrow I'm calling TVC, I'm not calling from Abuja, rather I'm calling from Edo, because my state has given me an opportunity to actually contribute my quota towards the growth issues, security issues in Edo State. Begs to say that the issues of lack of jobs in Edo State is one of the major issues. I know, yes, it's rampant in all over the states in Nigeria and all that, but Edo State has a lot that they can do to actually bring in youth into the system, having paid jobs that can take them off the street to be able to take away these youth restlessness and a lot of security challenges we have on the state. So I would want to hold him to your word, to his word, so that they can act on that, and let's see actions on it. Congratulations to them once again, and we're looking forward to a bright and better, prosperous Edo State after the over. Thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you, Prince. Prince Afegbua, I know you were probably going to also comment on something another caller had called in on. I think that was Reverend Dominic, was it? If I'm not confused now, because... Yes.
I think I have landed on Reverend Dominic and Joshua. The Prince that I remember during campaigns he didn't call across to ask what we have for him. And I remember telling him, like, not just about sitting there and say, what do you have for me? Policy initiatives and framework must always come youth and women, because they are the most vulnerable. And once you're able to jumpstart projects in different categories, you can provide jobs. Because if you ask people, or a simple economy, there are those who will think that the only way to jumpstart an economy that is in doldrum is for you to be productive infrastructure, renewal, building infrastructure, health sector, education, and all of that. All of these components will naturally involve youth participation. But this is going to be a government, based on my discussions with the governor, that to also have a roundtable, sit down with youths, and also generate ideas. It's not just about saying that there are no youths are not being. How many of them are ready to take up certain productive engagement in terms of even learning special skills in POP making, building, in plastering, furniture making, and what have you. And those which furniture. How many of them are ready to key into that area? It is not all about white collar jobs. People, the youth, must be ready to be able to ensure that they are able to key into this specialized skills area, so that the hunger for their labor or for their skill will increase and will accommodate it. It will shock you to know that in Edo State and some other parts of Nigeria, if you want a good person who will fix your POP in your new house, you go to Togo or Ghana or Benin Republic. That shouldn't be. So there are going to be platforms of engagement for youths, and as time goes on, we'll be able to know how to compartmentalize youth participation. If you are building infrastructure, who are the people you are going to use? You are definitely going to carry artisans and the ordinary folks out there, those who are specialists in building, construction, weather, and so many other persons that will be involved in all of those construction work. So the governor-elect has promised that he will convert Edo to a furniture headquarters. He will make sure that he's able to, generate jobs using that intervention in those critical infrastructure area, and by so doing, empower the youth to also take up their own productive engagement with respect to the kind of skills they have to flaunt. You don't just create jobs for people. People must have skills, the relevant skills, to be able to do those jobs. So first thing first, we will sit on the round table, have interaction with them and all that. That's what he promised. As we speak now, he's already having some engagement with youth groups and civil society and what have you. So when he comes on board, it is his responsibility to be able to network all of this youth population and ensure that he's able to, engage them in the critical sector of the state economy.
Okay. You know what? I think we're going to have to leave it here because we really are very, very close to our time boundary. But I'd like to thank you, Prince Kassim Afegbua, for
I would like to make a point that I think the media and other Nigerians should try as much as possible to try to prevail on politicians to always accept outcome of election results. The money they waste hiring lawyers to look for election victory in the law court can also serve to add value to society with respect to the youth that the last caller mentioned, and some other aspects of our socio-economic life. If they tell you how much an SAN is going to earn for just pursuing litigations and all of that, they are often mind-boggling fees.
Okay,
But
I think your point has been taken, Prince.
The role of sportsman. They must show sportsmanship in the way and manner they go about it.
All
they
right.
know in their heart of heart, the PDP, that APC won this election hands down. Even by their own reports, we won.
All right. As I said, we really have to leave it here. But I want to thank you very much, Prince Kassim Afegbua, for calling.